Hey, good morning, channel. And it is morning, as you can see by my dash clock there. That is 6:54 a.m. Arizona time here on the first week of January. And we were a little restless today, so we thought we would head out, just make a day trip, and we're going to catch the sunset here momentarily, but I wanted to show you what time we started, and we'll see what the day has to offer. We do have beautiful sunrises here in Arizona. We're facing obviously east now, and it is 7 a.m. straight up. Alright, so we're traveling, and this is 10 minutes later, 7:10 a.m., and as you can see, that beautiful sunrise looks a lot different than it did 10 minutes ago. And as you can tell, facing east, we are heading in the car south. We're going to stop in here and get a coffee for the road. But that is beautiful. And here is our first destination. I have no idea how to pronounce that, but I believe it is Native American owned. One more little peek at the sunrise there. We are approaching, and I apologize for the glare of these headlights, I don't know what to do about it, but we are approaching Main Street in Needles, California, which is considered Route 66. This is a portion of it that still runs through a town that didn't get bypassed. It actually did get bypassed by Highway 40. But this has got some interesting commerce on this Route 66. Those there are surplus vending machines. Unfortunately, here is an abandoned car wash that I have done a video on in case you're interested in getting in the self-serve car wash business. There are a ton of motels, and I think they were probably very busy in the 60s and 70s. Seems like maybe half of them are still open. You can see they're relatively inexpensive for the year 2020, $35 a night. Here's an old Union 76 station. I've done a video on that. Route 66 body shop of some kind. Here's another interesting one on the left here, this old Texaco. This is kind of a guy that's a hobbyist. He works on old cars, but it's really neat to see those old gas stations preserved. Now this is where big corporate has come in, put in newer hotels That is a closed coffee shop. Now we're in California, but we do have a coffee shop that's open, and I'm not sure what the difference is here. But it hasn't been reopened for long. There's a Dairy Queen. And up here is another closed or abandoned Taco Bell, which I don't see reopening anytime soon. So that's the highway, Route 66 bypass. We're going over Highway 40, and we're going to jump on that 40, but heading the other direction. Let's see how we can do this. That's going the wrong way. We may have to go back. Unfortunately, that's not a thoroughfare that goes through. So let's give you a look from the other side of the street. It's hard to keep switching the camera left and right, but once we get a semi to go by us here. Used to be a lot of stops for the trucks here in town. There were several tire repairs. They've all closed up. I mentioned in my last video on needles, other than dollar stores, there is not a grocery store, so it's a little bit tough living here without being able to buy, you know, your staples, your hamburger and chicken, and you can buy meat and bread. I mean, pardon me, you can buy milk and bread, but that's dollar store type stuff, which is still top quality. It comes from the local dairies. Had a lot of good comments on these little road trip videos. People have thought about moving to certain areas, and this gives them an idea of the neighborhoods, what they look like, and we bought fuel this morning for 183 in Arizona, and there at a tourist destination in California, it's over double, $3.99 at that Chevron. All right, we're gonna go back up to the light here, and we're gonna make a right, go over the freeway. Interesting FYI, when I stopped in that new gas station to get a coffee, I noticed that Mega Millions and Powerball lottery were both up to about 500 million today. So I bought 2 tickets, and I noticed that you could select your tickets, and then it gave you the checkout option of using a debit card, which I don't recommend you use your debit card for gambling, but I don't think it's going to be long and you'll be able to put a debit card in a slot machine, whether it be here in Nevada or the Indian-owned tribal casinos that we have a few of here in Arizona. We actually have one on the Nevada side too, the Avi. Alright, so here we are going over the train tracks. I don't even know if you can see them down there. We're kind of hoping to find an active train today. It's always so interesting to me to get close to a train. It's the power and the noise that they produce pulling all those cars. Alright, we're going to go down. And if I'm not mistaken, somebody can correct me, certainly. Oh, you can always correct me. I think this is, and I apologize for those bumps, I think this is Main Street now. Let me look on a sign. No, it's called Broadway. We are in Needles. This is the old downtown area. So you can kind of see by the structure of the buildings, that likely might have been their market. But we are on Broadway, and there are a lot of vacant buildings here as well. However, this sign, interestingly enough, says Route 66. So we are running parallel to that, to the Route 66 we thought we were on. I still think we were on Route 66. So they do have two parallel roads. And as you can see, a lot of this stuff has been torn down. Now, whether they were trying to avoid taxes, I'm not sure. Now, here is a motel on the left, the Old Imperial, fenced off, does not appear to have any power. For some reason in this town there are several liquor stores, about 5 of them that I know of. Not sure what that was. I keep thinking we're going to see where there was a market. Another closed gas station. Another closed gas station. Now getting up, as we get out of town here a little bit, we're going to see some little motels. And when I mean little, I mean 10, 15 units. A couple of nicely preserved Victorians there, I think. Here are, on the left, the container trains, and they're just sitting there. But boy, this gets so much traffic as far as trains during the day. Well, another closed gas station. A lot of these have turned into some sort of a repair facility. Hardy's Camp is a small motel. This exit we're coming up on, I think, is the second or third exit that Needles has. Well, how many gas stations have we noticed that are no longer open? All 3 major brands here on the left. I'll make that 4 mobile. Now, surprisingly enough, there is a shopping center here with a Rite Aid and an AutoZone, but no market. The left here was a dollar store. It opened. It wasn't open long. And lo and behold, it's shuttered. This was another motel that I think they either tore it down, or it had a fire or something. But anyways, we keep going. We will get to Lake Havasu. So I'm going to turn around and shut down here for a minute because I want to show you the housing districts. Because these houses are small and they are old, and about 2 out of 3 coming up are abandoned. And if a guy wanted to land somewhere, maybe fix up a house, this would be the place to do it, guys. So stand by. Residential coming up. Okay, we've turned up the road that Carty's Camp was, or is, it's still in business. And this is just one neighborhood. As you can see, the houses are small, they're old. Not sure what that is or was. I thought it was a train car at first, but look at all the palm trees. Somebody lived here. They don't just sprout up out of nowhere. Somebody had to have planted those years ago. I think we're going to stick with one side of the street, guys, unless we see something really interesting on the right side, just to keep us in focus the best we can. But this is predominantly what you find in Needles, California. Now, like some neighborhoods that we're gonna get to, I don't see a lot of these empty and boarded up, but we will get to that area soon. Most of these look like they are indeed inhabited. A lot of neat old cars and trucks in this town. Probably most in pretty good shape is stuff doesn't rust out here in the desert. People always come to Nevada and Arizona and the desert in Southern California for cars. Yeah, this is the real well kept up neighborhood. Somebody decorated nicely for the Christmas. Let's go this way. I've seen a lot of these homes along that I can see from the freeway, and kind of go up on top of them. You can see in the backyards if they've got tons of old stuff or cars, or, and I have seen some interesting things. Now that church, hard to say if that's still active. That is the freeway out that direction, the 40. A lot of work in those rock fences. I don't think I would have put the effort in, but maybe, I guess if that's all you have, that's what you use. We're going to get down to another neighborhood here, which, like I said earlier, is got a lot more abandoned properties, so stand by. Okay, I forgot about this little landmark here. This has a railroad set of tracks going over the top of it. Now, this says 8-foot clearance, and I have been under this, and I see now that it's closed, but you would have to wait for the car on the other side to go, and then you would go one at a time, because it's not wide enough for 2 cars to go through there, and it certainly is not tall enough for anything other than maybe a van to go under. I have seen so many people pulling trailers, boats, and RVs get stuck on this over the years, so that had to be why they have just closed it. It's not been closed but a year, but this was this separated the 2 sides of town here, and now you have to go kind of go around the long way. So I had forgotten all about this, but this is just an interesting landmark in Needles for the people that have gone under this little 8-foot undercrossing. So there you have it, guys. We're gonna get back to some neighborhoods now with a lot of abandoned homes. Stand by. We are on the other side of the highway now. Bright sun. Here is an interesting little structure. No idea what that could have been. Looks like we have a mixture of commercial, maybe retail, mixed in with the residential housing, which a lot of times is a sign of way back in the day there was no zoning, maybe no building department. There's a lot there, looks like maybe had a fire. Cafe there, it states founded in 1952, but it is temporarily closed, which is understandable here on the California side. Not sure what this was, but I'm going to give them a little respect here, being as it says private property, and I am parked right on the major thoroughfare, so to avoid any problems. I do see a mattress on the top of that pile. I just have a hard time believing it was housing unless it was really old. Some kind of a little shop back there. Made out of railroad ties. This looked interesting, but I don't see any memoirs such as auto repair or tires. They did have an abundance of railroad ties, and we all know how expensive these can be, so. Something obviously was torn down here. Been a while since that palm tree has received any kind of pruning or service. Always find it funny how somebody would come out here on property like this and put a do not disturb or no trespassing up, and that's a new sign. That's only this year. It's not even faded. So somebody wants to keep people out for some reason. Interesting. Here is our last neighborhood and offering today for needles. The sun is kind of hurting our easterly view. There's a place there that's boarded up. Now there's a lot of these in this town, and unfortunately I haven't showed you as many as I wanted to, but we're going to take a zip through this last neighborhood here that is on the east side of town. I would say this is as close as we're going to get to what would be considered tract homes on city lots. I would say from the looks of these homes, they were probably built maybe in the 80s, but could be some 70s for sure. Now we have come across a school that from the looks of the playground is probably elementary school. Wouldn't imagine there'd be another school other than a high school of some sort unless they bus them. So definitely elementary there. There is another area of this town that is predominantly mobile homes, which is on the far side, which we didn't get to with this tour, but I promise you I will bring it back to you to give you an idea. If I'm not mistaken, this area we're entering now is older. Big storage facility there for a town like this. Some little cottages there. See a lot of fences, 4-foot fences in front of these homes. Well, here is something that's to be noted. There's a wash that goes through this town. It's pretty deep too. It looks like it's about, oh, I'd say it's 12 feet deep. That would be an interesting video if there was water coming through there as to how tall or how deep it actually gets. So, well, we've seen some interesting things, guys. This is not a town that has a lot of spectacular items other than this guy here. Looks like he might be in the junk business or second-hand business, but I think we're in a cul-de-sac here. If we are, we'll turn around. If not, we'll make a right and get out of here. I don't know if we can. No, I think we've reached a dead end here. So, guys, I think it's time to wrap up our Needles road trip. Appreciate if you've watched this far. You've watched to the end. Let's see where we're taking here. I have a feeling I know where this lets out. If I'm not mistaken, this is the little area that said no trespassing coming from the other way. So, yeah, this is the back side of that auto repair where we saw a couple guys standing out there having coffee. But it did say no trespassing coming in this direction. For what reason? I really don't know. It looks like it looks like people live here. Well, there's the radio station, KTOX 1340 AM. Let's talk, it says. They've got some big antennas out here. Now, whether that's still in business, there is an active trash can out there. It might be, no trespassing. I'll have to tune in to 1340 and see. Anyways, this is the no trespassing area. I guess they could pull that gate shut, but you can certainly access it from the other side. So, guys, we appreciate you watching. Needles, California. It's not far from where we live. We just wanted to take a little ride this morning, and that's probably breakfast time. So, for now, Doug at Doug's World Tour on a very bumpy road. Out.